how passionately I advocate for betas to accept their natural place, understand they'll never be able to please a woman.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the broadcast. I am the Cuck Matchmaker, and this is
The one and only Elite QoS Lady Anaconda, you already know.
and we are here to talk to you all about everything that is BNWO, cuckolding, female-led relationships, all of the above. We just wanted to have a nice, transparent conversation so that you guys know that it's okay to have these feelings and emotions. Just have them in a safe space. So that is what we're here to do, to provide a safe space for all of you cuck, losers, subs, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. We can go down the list, sissies, da-da-da-da-da. We got names for you guys. We got structure for you guys. We have relationship dynamics for you. We're not out here aimless. So Lady Anaconda and I will give you guys some direction.
Yeah, because not everybody fits into the same mold, and there's a lot of communities that, are talking about different lifestyles now, especially the cuckolding lifestyle, but some people still feel left out even in those conversations. So, we want to open the door to help everybody understand there's a lot more going on here. And I really want you to help everybody understand what the BNWO movement is, because people have, their own idea about it. People like to assume it's something that it's not sometimes, and there's a place for everybody in it. So we definitely got to get into that.
So let's jump into it, right? No condom, bareback, right? So Black New World Order, BNWO, right? What is it? You see it all the time, or you see it sometimes if you're looking real hard. What is it? What is Black New World Order? Well, Black New World Order, to me and people who think like me, it's the only place, only lifestyle, only situation where everybody that's non-Black can express their love and admiration for Black people. And they can express that in various ways. I like the financial aspect of it. And you get to show your love for Black people. Nowhere else can you do this. You can't tell your doctor that you are addicted to Black dick. You can't tell your psychologist that all you think about and dream about is your wife getting railed by Black men. Well, you can't tell your pastor. You can't go to confessional and tell the priestess. So we are your only place to get all of that off, all that angst, all that anxiety, all of that everything. You can come to us. What about it, Lady Anaconda?
Well, yeah, I mean, everybody wants to, like, I think the other thing that is important to point out, that everybody has an issue with race play, but they should if it's non-consensual. But this is a space where Black kings and queens are engaging in ethical race play and on their own terms. And I think that's really important for people to understand that, when these spaces are run by, I mean, you could say non-Black people, but specifically, typically, it's white people,
Of course.
thinking that they are running the space, no matter if they're in a submissive, role or not. They think that they're running everything. And the BNWO provides a space where, Black men and women and, non-binary as well, Black people are dictating the terms of every interaction, are dictating how somebody that is non-Black can engage with them, whether it is a kinky situation or not, because obviously there are educational and political elements as well, but, certainly a lot of fetish play. And yeah, that's what everybody needs to understand, is that a lot of the shit that we see, or a lot of the content that we see labeled as BNWO on, say, Twitter, is made by white subs, white
Right.
sissies, white cucks, etc.
Right.
And that's not what we're talking about. When we say BNWO, we're talking about what the content that is put out by Black creatives, the content that is, approved by the Black kings and queens of the BNWO.
Yeah, it's. I guess this is just something for everybody to get used to. It's like, okay, I could definitely list out the companies, but there are companies, adult porn companies, or just companies, period, that make millions, but billions off the likeness of Black men, Black women, Black people being awesome. So now it's just a situation to where we're just like, no, I'm gonna get me mine. You know what I mean? Like y'all making billions, just let me get my cut. You know what I mean? And we good to go. But ain't none of that. Oh well, you just gonna make money off my likeness, and I'm just gonna sit there and be like, okay. Ain't none of that. That shit over. That shit dead. So, You're gonna come to us. You're gonna come to get everything lifestyle. You're gonna get your clothing like that. It's beyond me. Like we got a few companies that are making like Queen of Spade and BNWO clothing, but it's like it's crazy to me that there aren't a whole bunch of black companies that are providing this when it's about you. But then again, that's the way it's set up. But I'm like, look, I'm gonna get my piece. You know what I mean? I'm gonna put my little toe in all this shit and see what pops. Like, no, you're not gonna make billions off of me. I just sit here looking stupid. No.
Yeah. But that's the, kind of what we address often, a lot of times, both in our content and just on social media in general, is how there are these cuckolding lifestyle spaces that want to benefit from the use of different terms like BBC only, um, you know, but they don't want to address the fact that A, that's race play.
That's definitely race play. And you know what? I think that the other thing about BNWO is it's only stating the obvious. What we really do in essence is state the obvious. Okay, your wife, your girlfriend doesn't make those sounds with you. She only makes those sounds when she's with a black man. What is wrong with saying she's pleased by a black man? Again, these are all like the reason why Black New World Order works and why me and you will always have a job is because this country refuses to deal with this race issue. Refuses. And because of that, you and me will always have jobs, will always be good, super good, forever, because they're never going to discuss ever. And because of that, you got people that's coming to us and go, hey, I used to be a stomp down KKK member. The whole time I was dreaming about black dick, my woman, and all this other stuff. It's like, that's fine. Keep on doing what you're doing. People like Lady Anaconda are going to thrive off it. Keep on doing it. It's perfect.
But that's where it goes from, at the end of the day, that's where it's transitioning from fantasy play, which within this fantasy play, of hot wives and BBC only, the white cuck husband wants to always feel like at the end of the day, he's in control. He's letting his wife do something. He
Yeah.
finds it hot, so she's allowed to do XYZ because he likes that. Versus people that approach you or approach, other Black kings and queens that work with and represent the BNWO network, approach them about what you're talking about, which is these feelings of, whether it's racism, insecurity, inferiority, the fact that they're having fantasies about, their mom or their sister or their crush or their wife being with Black men, those
Right.
those are real feelings you're having, real like hangups that you're having. We've seen how that can lead to dangerous situations, if not properly dealt with in a consensual, no shame type of situation, conversation. So, there's that line that people don't want to cross because we see certainly that there are plenty of cuckolding spaces, lifestyle spaces that want to pander to these white males that are so hung up on, and it isn't just white males. It just seems like
Right.
white males are particularly sensitive
Right. They're
about,
triggered by
you
it.
know, like that, oh, well, my wife's having sex with this Black man, but the Black man's not in control. It just, that's going on over there. And, and at the end of the day, too, whatever gets played into it in terms of other fetishes or kinks that you're bringing into cuckolding, that's all consensual. But
Yeah.
when you're talking about being racist in your everyday and then playing some fantasy out and still being racist in that, in that interaction, that's what we're trying to address. That's problematic, and that there should be a space for people to be challenged in those feelings.
Case in point, I talk about this loser all the time. I got this New York beat cop that's been my follower for like the last 4 years or whatever, and his story goes he was 10 years old, walked in and saw his mom sucking a big black dick. Never got therapy, never talked about it with anybody, any of that shit. But this guy becomes a cop. Somebody who is sanctioned to wear a fucking gun, has authority, and is walking around with this mental trauma, right? And this is big, what is that, stop and frisk? And he tells me, hey, I've done some bad things to Black men. And by him just saying it like that, I know that he has. You know what I mean? Like my brain can get real descriptive. So, and that's to the order of, he was like, yeah, man, I've touched Black men inappropriately on a bunch of different occasions. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, first of all, don't do that shit no more. you better don't do like I have to like I'm talking to him, and I would never be able to talk to a New York cop like this outside of
Mm.
this situation. And like who tells a cop that type of shit? Like you would never be able to talk to a cop like that ever. But it's like with this type of shit, that's why I be so big on like women getting into this shit because like you're a shining example. They have to talk to you. They need to talk to you. Like men would rather divulge things to women. Just
Mhm.
period. Period.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just like with that, these guys are going to tell you their deepest, darkest desires, deviants, confessions, all of that shit. That's why I'm just like for you ladies, like, whoa, it's a therapy. Like y'all really are therapists on this, you know?
Yeah. And just, giving that like cuz again, that's my other thing too. I don't kink shame, but there's plenty of fantasies, kinks, fetishes, etc. that I don't that I'm not into, that I don't like, that I'm
Right.
not, I'm not even going to be open to talking to somebody about, but I make it really clear what I am here to talk to you about and what, lifestyle I live and, that I'm not going to shame you for, those types of thoughts that you're having. But I am going to challenge you. Like, I'm not going to let you come in and think that it's all just a fantasy when you're talking about like what you're saying, like some behavior that you're doing in your everyday life, the way that you're treating real people in your
Right.
everyday life,
The
the
why
way that
is
you're.
so important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's because I mean, a lot of people work through trauma with BDSM play or fantasy play. Plenty of people do it in a very constructive way, work through their traumas. Um, but at the end of the day, if you're femdom, not just a findom, but like dealing with any sort of female domination play, whether it's in person or online, you have a great deal of power and influence
Oh my
to
gosh.
affect how that person like thinks about themselves and what they're divulging to you and also how they behave going forward. You have that power. Like you and I have been in this game long enough that we've changed how people live,
Right.
and that's like a really serious um power. Like you got to really respect that type of power that you have. And I personally don't want to pander to white males to make them feel like, you know oh, you're so special, you're so great, like everything about you, a woman would be so lucky to have you, because that's what some people want to talk to these guys that say they want to be in a cuckold dynamic. These women will just focus so heavily on making sure that the guy doesn't feel shamed or anything, and that's important. But if he's being racist, or if he's being,
Yeah.
you know,
Or if he's
that whole
asking to be humiliated, what the fuck? Like he's
yeah,
asking for this shit. Why not
yeah, but
humiliate him?
exactly. And if he's topping from the bottom, you got to check that. If you like, because now you're setting a woman up to be in a toxic relationship with him, where he thinks everything's about him and whatever he wants is what's most important, and however he behaves is fine because, well, I'm such a catch because I want to give you this cuckold dynamic. It's like, where's the empowerment or anything for the woman in that scenario? It's
Right.
so
Where's the
you
empowerment
really
for the
gotta.
black me? Nobody. It's
Yeah,
only for men. I
exactly,
hate that. I hate that. Like
exactly.
if one person should be empowered in the situation, all three should be empowered in the situation. Like in their own
Yeah.
specific idiosyncratic way. You know what I mean? Like definitely. Um and but you
And
know
if
what?
you're asking to be abused, if you're asking to be humiliated and dominated and abused, like you need to embrace that role of being a submissive and like really be like, how can I really benefit the other two people in this dynamic, and not just be topping from the bottom, thinking about your own experience exclusively. And
and
yeah,
and because if you're a real true cuck, your enjoyment, your compersion, as they say, comes from your woman being pleased. If you're a true cuck,
right,
this whole
right.
notion of alpha cuck and come on, fam, it can't
And it
exist.
should it should absolutely also be about the pleasure of the Black King that she wants and needs to be with to feel fulfilled. Like
Right.
he's not, that's a whole person that you're inviting into a dynamic, or, you're allowed to be a part of,
His
his and your
dynamic.
wife's
Right.
dynamic.
Right.
So, it's just one of those things that like people think what we say and what we do is so wild, but the number of people that we talk to that have these feelings, it's not. It's
Well,
not
see,
some outlier situation. If anything, like that the traditional thing of just, these white couples thinking that they run the show and they can use black men like dildos, that's the thing that's just that's over.
yeah, that's the
That
thing of the past.
it's tired.
Every black king I talk to, I'm like, bro, you're in charge, right? Like, that like they wouldn't have this feeling without you, right? And you need to act
Mhm.
accordingly, right? Like you do know that, right? And for the most part, it's most guys like, yeah, bro, I know that. But for the few dudes, it's just like, oh wait, I'm the prize. Oh wait, I'm the star of the show. Like it's just like, yeah, bro, don't ever
Yeah.
think otherwise. Like she would not be making those noises without you. Like
Yeah.
me and you have both went to Splash Mocha. We've been there. Them people ain't spending $1,000 for 3 days, travel and putting the dog up and grooming just to come see some white guy. They're coming to see the top of the top 1% black men on the planet.
Yeah.
On the planet. So like that's it's something to that point. It has to be something to that. So I'm big on like, especially I'm a black man. I want black men to know their worth. I talk to them about the safety and insafety of situations and that type of thing. Like really knowing what's up and vetting these couples and ladies. Like hell yeah, make sure she regards you as a human. Make sure that couple regards you as a human. Like if they don't want reparations for you, do you really want to put your dick in them? Like,
Right.
you
Yeah,
know what I
that part.
mean?
If they
Like,
Because that was the whole thing, right? If they're not gonna like, stand up for you. Like, I mean, I
why should you
understand
stand up for them?
because you can get women anywhere, anytime. So, at the end of the day, like, yeah, you could think about it as, oh, well, I'm gonna have a fun time, so like I don't have to really care, and it's not that deep. But at the end of the
Oh, you're
day, it's
blessing them.
like
You're blessing them. Oh,
blessing them. But that is like I almost feel like you should start a union for the Black Kings in the cuckolding world because there's
talk to me.
there's a
Talk to
lot to
me.
say, right? About like, the safety that we've talked to dudes that have been in the lifestyle, world for, let's say a couple decades or something, and they just are so used to
Okay.
pandering to white guys out of I like
That shit is nauseating. That shit makes me
for
want
like
to like throw
but
up in
maybe it's for
my mouth.
safety reasons. Because that's what we're addressing here is that a lot of these guys do, and when I say guys, a lot of these cuck guys do have
Yeah.
racism hangups, do have
Okay.
insecurity hangups. So
Okay.
what if they, signed up for a cuckolding dynamic situation? Maybe they went to a party, or maybe it was private in a hotel, etc. And the Black King really
Okay.
came in with some heavy dominant energy and some, no, absolutely not, you're going to go in the closet, you're not even going to watch,
Yeah.
or like
Word.
really took charge of the situation, like you're saying that they should, and that I totally believe that they should. But then at the end of the day, we are living in America, right?
Right.
So what if
Right.
they really are worried about what kind of retribution is going to be happening after this session, like what if Bobby, is pissed about how he was actually treated like a submissive cuck, even though he asked for it, even though he booked the hotel, even though he begged wifey to do it, and now he's
right.
rounding up his KKK buddies and they're gonna go torture shit. Like that's
Right.
a disgusting reality of
It is.
despite that it's 2023. So there is, you know like everyone has to have each other's backs. The BNWO, I think, is just such an important space to recruit Black kings and queens that are into, that type of fetish play, that domination play, like to let it be known these are the roles. This is we're not no we're not here to pander to you, white husband. We are not all about your feelings first and foremost, and like that is so I think it was necessary for you to create, be one of the people that helped create this space that really solidifies no Black king, no Black queen. You are in charge, and you should only be playing with or messing with anybody that respects that, and that's what they want to submit to your control. They want to submit to your power, and be able to worship, be able to serve, be able to be in that safe submissive headspace, and really embrace it. I think
Yeah.
that's super important.
It's very important for Doms to, and we have conversations all the time about dimes or whatever. It's like, these subs are going to come to you however they come to you. Now,
Mm.
as a dom, you need to be the best that you can be. Like we see bad examples of doms every day doing fuck shit, posting bad Findom stuff or whatever. It's like we could go down the list about the bullshit that they do, but the people that do it right, that's like, okay, hey, I'm gonna talk to you. Hey, I'm gonna give you that attention you need, and I'm gonna give you the aftercare after. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Readjust you to reality. You know what I'm saying? And then when you go
Mhm.
back in the subspace, I'm gonna be here too. But these people who are out here, look, I'm just gonna lowball it. Lady Anaconda, you a female that makes, I'm not gonna say for real, but you're one of the females that make, let's just say $1,000 a day. Let's just say you make that, right? You have a
Mhm.
blueprint of how to do it right. You know what I mean? You have your various social mediums, you talk your shit, you do your content, that type of shit. To these females that got all of these fucking excuses about why they can't or whatever, I'm like, bitch, fuck you. Like, here's a woman right here showing you. I'm not gonna give
Yeah.
all the details of your current life, but the fact that you're doing this stuff right now, like, it makes me sick to my stomach
It's just
when
social
females
media in general. As soon as you start comparing yourself to somebody else and, you know, wondering about why do they have that or how are they able to do that? The minute that you start doing that,
get
you're
fucked
going to
up.
make less money. You're going to make
Get
less
fucked up.
money than you are because the number one thing that you have to do, and it just sounds so cheesy, is you have to be yourself. Like you, and by
Yeah,
that I mean we're all a reality show, right? Like
yeah,
I live a very authentic life, and that's one of the reasons why my fans like me so much is that, I walk the walk, talk the talk. But at the
right,
end of the day, Lady Anaconda is like my stage name and a reality show, right?
right.
Like, I mean, I've lived with my live-in sub. Like, I don't have a cuck husband, but I have lived with a full-time, submissive cuckold who cooks 3 meals a day for me and buys me a car to drive me around and is my full-time photographer and, puts my shoes on for me. And, like that's my real life. And that's why, and just I could go down the list of the things that you do in your real life that for somebody else that would only ever be either a fantasy they talk about or something that they would do if they got hired to be on a porn shoot for a day.
Right,
You know what I mean? Like,
right,
but we
right.
cross that line between, fantasy and reality. So like when you look in social media and you start trying to compare yourself to other people, you're going to forget about who you are, what you have to offer, what lifestyle you're living, what makes you special. And like because you're not trying to pull somebody else's fans. Like the fan world, the number of people is infinite. Like when you go on
Infinite,
Instagram,
infinite.
you see hot women that don't really even do much. They're just hot and they'll have 1 million followers, right? Okay. Like first of all, how many of them are actually paying them? But like
Right, right,
once you get numbers like that, obviously you're getting paid by the company,
right,
Instagram or other
right.
company, whatever. We're not going to go down that, obviously we all know that. But just in general, you're not trying to take somebody else's fans. You're trying to
No,
create your own world. You're trying
right.
to attract people that like you for what you have to offer. So there's no point trying to compare yourself, looking at somebody else. You got to be like, well, I like to do this and I like to do this and this is what makes me hot and this is what makes me cool and this is what makes me smart. Let me do that. Let me show that, and
Right.
be consistent with it, So it's because people compare me to other cuckoldresses or even women that call themselves like they like the term cucktress, I guess,
Yeah,
instead.
yeah,
And but we're completely different.
right.
Even the other, models that I work with that fall under the umbrella of House of Anaconda. Some of
Totally
us are a
different.
lot more similar, some of us a lot more similar than others, but at the end of the day, we're all different. So,
Totally
you
different.
know.
Because your experiences give you a different outlook and how you express your desires and that type of thing. So yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like, just like you and Disney, it's like, look, like you may have a common goal, like
Mhm,
that mountain we're looking at. That's the goal that we're going to, but we may be looking at it from different sides of the mountain.
mhm,
But we're definitely looking at that same mountain. So, like, even with that, it's like, okay, with this Black New World Order thing, with this, just as it is under BDS and them, the whole big umbrella. we're telling or we're making it obvious to cucks and subs that this is where you can come and express those things. Because if you go somewhere else, you're gonna be ridiculed. We already know. Like, what do you mean you're in love with BBC? What do you mean you're in love with women who have black come in and then you want to lick it out? What do you mean? Like, you can't do that anywhere but here. So I think it's a really important
And
question.
the next step beyond that, like having like an inferiority complex, like putting into words the fact that you as say like as a non-black person feel intimidated by the presence of a black
Every time they
person.
walk in the room, like where else can you say that and somebody else not be like, oh no, you know what I mean? Like you can't say that anyplace else, only here. That's why
Because
it's special.
first of all, we know that it's natural to feel that way. And second of all, we're not going to shame that. Like, because there's a I think my other issue with some other, people in the cuckolding lifestyle that on one hand, they do humiliation play themselves,
Right,
or,
right,
maybe even some level of degradation play, whatever. But for
right.
some reason, when we do it, they don't understand that it's just as consensual. And I don't understand that. Like, because again, I'm not going to shame you. I'm going to talk to you and get you to really open up about why do you think you feel this way?
It's
Like
something about the race
find
play,
that
though.
line between reality and fantasy and figure that out. Maybe this
It's something
fantasy
about
maybe put the
race.
taste in.
It's something about race. Whenever that race thing, because it's everybody can't do it. Obviously, you know what I mean. Like everybody can't do race play. Everybody can't
Mm.
do this shit. So in it comes in the jealousy, the envy, that type of thing. So it's like, okay, let's say you're somebody who wants to engage in race play. You got to find a cool black person to do it. You know
Mm.
what I'm saying? Like if you want a black person to degrade you racially, those people aren't readily available. You know what I mean? Like there's no big
Yeah.
post sign, hey, I will degrade you, white boy, for like money, white girl for money. Like that shit isn't, unless you're an asshole like me saying that I do race play, you're not gonna find it. So it's like every dom, every sub can't engage in it. So that's gonna make it be a situation. I can see
But
that. You know what I mean?
but it's also, it should just like any sort of domination, fantasy play, like you're engaging with somebody's having to provide that service for you. Regardless of what you do, phone call, live session, go into a party, whatever it is, they're providing like their energy to create something for you or to listen to you, to tap into you. That's why financial domination is such a key part for like you and for me in our brands
Yeah,
in the BNWO, because I think that that's part of the problem when, because we've been in spaces before on Twitter and we've talked to, um, I mean, black men and women that may not even be sex workers, of
yeah,
course, like
yeah,
coming from the full on outside, trying to understand what's going on. But
yeah.
even just they may make content and they don't really feel like they're dominant, so they don't really do financial domination. They're working more with, trying to get as many subscribers on their $3
Gotcha.
page, and they're coming from a different place. But I feel like understanding that this white boy that wants to be humiliated, degraded, if he's going to really give up that cash,
Yeah,
then you're now that's where the power play comes in, because otherwise, because money's real, right? So now we're taking it past just a fantasy of I want to talk about my sister getting black bread or whatever. Like, yeah, I can see if you're talking about that fantasy for free as a black man, like,
yeah,
yeah, I can see that why that would not make you feel empowered. I could see why
right.
that would piss you off and just be like, you're a white man in this society. You have white privilege. Like you get to just go out and be white and be handed, cards that I'm not.
Everything,
Like
everything. Yeah,
why should I also like, be at all interested in your little fake ass little fantasy you want to talk about? Like, no, you go the next step and you make them have to give you those tangibles. Give
yeah.
like, and you set the rate. Nobody's telling you how much you have to charge. Charge $1,000.
Oh,
Charge
charge
$2,000.
$10,000. What the
Charge
fuck? This
whatever
is
you
so
want.
great.
They want to meet you. They want to kiss your feet or be kicked in the balls by you. 10K. Whatever. You said. So
Out.
that's the part that I know you're always trying on Twitter to like get people to understand, especially Black queens. Like, you know, you don't have to make your whole brand about BNWO or race play. Like, you know, do whatever you love to do, but understand that these dudes are out here.
Look,
There are a lot of them, and they
look,
want to pay you for this type of interaction. So, you know, it's like,
like when Black women tell me stupid shit, like, yeah, I got this little silly white boy that comes to me once a week and he wants to do VIP with me, but he don't ever want me to dance for him. He just want me to kick him in the balls in the fucking champagne room. And I'm like,
right,
babe, you do understand that's like BDSM and all this. They be like, most of them be like, oh nah, he's just a little weirdo white boy. I'm like, no, baby, he has, you know what I'm saying? Like you need to
right,
capitalize on this. Oh
right.
no, you know, da. I'm just like, oh no, you don't understand the full picture. Like you need to humiliate this white boy. Like for
And
real,
there's
for
so
real.
much exactly. Like there's so many places you can take it. If he's already like letting you know I'm into this, there's chances that he's into other things too, and you need to like kind of
Exploring.
like educate yourself so you can be like, "Ooh, I think I'd like to do that." Because that's at the end of the day, that's what it should come back to is like, you know, take control of it for real and be like, "Okay, yeah, I'm going to kick you in the balls, but I'm also going to, you know, make you worship my feet and you're going to pay this much more because I said so, or I, you know, I'm going to sit on you for half an hour and talk on the phone and make somebody else pay me and you're, you know, like whatever. Like there's a number of things and uh but that's also, I think, interesting too about the chastity.
Yeah.
Chastity play keeps you in this heightened state, and it'll like keep
Subspace.
you
Yeah.
in this subspace, keeps you like in kind of like this hyped up state, and that
Chastity cucks are different. Chastity cucks, bro, when
yeah,
they want to pay, they're paying straight up and they're paying lump sum.
yeah.
And ain't no games with a chastity cuck.
Well,
Like
especially
for real,
key
ain't no really
holder.
games.
When you're their key holder, like that's they're committing to taking it from just a fantasy conversation to I'm going to be locked up for you.
Yeah, like
24/7 for
you're
however long you decide, goddess. You're in charge,
you're
master.
in charge
You're,
of their
you know,
whole being with their key physically around your neck.
right.
Like that's crazy.
Because they want, like, you know, and again, the one of the main reasons it ties into cuckolding is, you know, like you're denied, but he gets full access. And I'm going to wear your key around my anklet, around my neck, whatever,
I
while
might
I'm
flush
having
that
this
bitch.
fun,
I might
you
flush that
know?
bitch down the toilet. Like you don't
Right.
know.
Exactly. I might throw it in the ocean. I might just give it to one of my girlfriends and like not tell you who I gave it to. Like whatever. Exactly. Because
Bro,
and that's
I
again,
am
that's the power that you have as a dominant, you know, like submissives have power too because they have to consent to everything. But if
they do.
you consent to something open-ended like I want you to have my key, your dominant can do whatever they want to with that key like, you know.
They can fucking mail that bitch to Singapore and not put a fucking return address on that bitch and you just out here.
Right.
Period. Just fuck up.
They like melt it down. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just whatever, melt it down and make something prettier and make that a necklace and you really
Now
never getting
that
it
is
back.
demented. That's what lets me know you're an evil bitch. You would melt that bitch down. Wow. Serious. That's
But
serious.
yeah,
But
so, you know, like there's so many examples of how you take fantasy to reality and, you know, really make it you have a kinky lifestyle and it's like the 24/7 thing for you. So, you know, it shouldn't surprise people that there's a number of different ways that people live out their kinky desires and fantasies. Like it's not cuckolding, having a husband wife cuckolding dynamic is not the one and only way that
let's
people
talk about
have
that.
a kinky
Let's talk about that.
lifestyle.
Let's talk about that. So most Queen of Spades, like you are different from the rule. Most Queen of Spades are going to have this cuck hubby, but then their ultimate fantasy, what they really want to experience is what we're talking about. For you being different, you don't have a white husband. You have a black fiance for real. You fuck with him, but you accept cuckold. So it's like what you're doing shouldn't be ridiculed, shouldn't be looked down upon. You still have the same love for black men. You're actually with a black man as opposed to a white woman that's married to a white man. It's like there shouldn't be any type of ridicule, but it is. We know we're not going to mention her name, but there are certain people who are like, hey, I should be considered better because I married a white guy or whatever. And it's just like, you chose to marry a black guy, so like, you know what I mean? Go ahead.
So some people just have an issue with, like, it's interesting, right? They don't want to be shamed for their lifestyle,
They'll
but
shame you.
they should, well, not even just me, but it seems like a lot of hang up um has to do with the content creation, I guess. So like they, because, and it's just interesting to me again because you're still kink shaming in some capacity, because
Yeah, you are.
clearly I enjoy not only having access to having sex with some of the most elite porn stars in the world, and I really like that, and I like to make video of it, and I like to make content. Making content's one of my kinks, so like, why are you kink shaming me? But you know, there's such been such a surge, for instance, of hot wives who live their lifestyle. They are a hot wife. They, you know, they have regular black men, black kings that they see on a regular basis in their real life, but now they make content for it. So it's not like I'm the one and only woman who's calling herself a QoS making content. So like, I don't fully understand what the hang up really is, or like the lack of understanding, for instance, that I still have a real life and I have content creation, and sometimes they overlap. Quite a few times they overlap. Like, I'm quite a few times I'm just taking video of something I would do anyway and I'm selling it as content.
Right.
But I'm not the only one doing that. So I don't understand what some people's hang up. Like, I'm not doing anything in my real life just for content. I'm literally making content of what I would be doing anyway.
But even if
Um
you are, that's within
so
your fucking right. You can do what the fuck, like who,
Of course,
like.
I could do whatever I want, but again, it's just like, you know, this term QoS, I just think that there's like these white couples that are so protective of it, and they don't want it they don't want me to bring politics or social accountability, or, you know, any, they don't want me to bring any of that to the term. They just want to be left alone.
Well,
And
here's the thing. Here's the thing. Okay,
like,
Queen of Spade. If we're going to try to remove the fucking politicalness of it, Queen of Spade. Let's define it today. When my ancestors or whatever was in slavery, chattel slavery, antebellum slavery and shit, if somebody calls you, you're black as a spade. You're black as a spade. So that was a negative connotation. So
right.
what white men did, because ain't no black people doing it. What white men did was, whenever it's a woman who likes black men, you called her a queen of spade, queen of spade, queen of spade, queen of spade, or they
Which is
even
kind of a
call her
derogatory term, isn't it? It's like
very,
calling her a slut. Like, you know, you're
very
calling her something negative, but you're sexualizing it, and now the
right,
women themselves sexualize it, and, you
right.
know, and it's, yeah.
Yeah. So then,
Because white
because
men have to constantly try to control everybody by shaming them, but they don't want to be shamed. Well, it's
so here's the thing: the whole reason why white men are doing any of the shit that they're doing, even with the abortion and all these things we talk about all the time, it's a genetic annihilation defense mechanism. Like, if you knew that the sun could kill you, if you knew that if black men fucked your women, all your white, you would set up some measures too to make sure that you were safe. A la abortion, a la racism, a la all of these things that they have in place. So it's like, look, they're doing all these things to avoid a genetic annihilation. Okay, we get it. You know what I mean? Like, do we agree with it? All this other stuff? No, but it's just like, these are desperate measures to protect themselves from being wiped off the face of the planet. It is what it is.
I mean, you can't argue with the power of melanin. If you try to, you just look stupid. So,
I mean, look, all things being equal, hell, all things being unequal, black people shine. Like, it's just
mhm.
period. Like, look, even in the fucking worst situations, black people gonna be like, I'm gonna come up off this shit. I'm gonna find a way. You know what I mean?
That's
And
the whole, we talk about that all the time, that at the end of the day, you know, no matter how much oppression, white supremacy tries to exist by, it's black men and women, like, black men and women have contributed more to, you know, from creating things, like inventing things, to, you know, building our culture. Like, everybody just gravitates toward what black people create,
It's not
So
cool unless it's black.
so
Honestly, it's
it's
not
just
cool unless a black person touches it or creates it.
right.
Honestly,
Right. But you just, they like to your point, yeah, they just are so scared of the fact that no matter how much you try to keep black people down, they constantly just show that they can't be kept down. And if they were given reparations and if they were treated with respect across the board, they would leave everybody else in the dust. So, yeah, I can see how that would stir up some insecurity in white women, I guess, but mostly white males. Because look, like I know this is such a I guess this is kind of a dumb thing to say, but it's a bigger concept. But like with the Little Mermaid, for instance, okay,
talk about it.
everybody,
Go
ev-
into detail.
well, me and Daddy Rack have just been talking about, okay, so people want to talk about, oh, the racism backlash of people being mad that the Little Mermaid, that they cast a black queen to be the Little Mermaid, and so much hate, so much hate, so much hate. And that's because the white supremacy system has infiltrated not just America, but like they're
Every walk of life. Yeah.
super racist in Asia. And, so this is not just America and whatever. But as much as there was racism against a black woman being the lead in this movie, let's talk
Where
about
was the
the fact
black
that
man?
dude, I couldn't even believe that I went to see this movie and it takes place on an island in like the Caribbean.
Yeah. Where
And
the black dude?
the queen, and I guess the king too, but I guess he had passed away, so we didn't see
Yeah.
him. We just saw the queen. The queen was a black queen who had adopted Prince Eric. She had adopted this white boy. He wasn't even her child. Like, how desperate do you have to be to not put a black man in?
Very desperate. Extra, like, bro, agenda
Because they
money.
don't think anybody's gonna go see the movie. Like, in what world? In what world do you like? But anyway, like,
But at the
somebody
same
be brave
time,
enough
it's
to
an
prove that
agenda.
that's not true, please,
It's an
because
agenda. You know that it's an agenda. It's like, and look at it. Like little girls grow up and die. Looking at Disney films, right? Disney
right.
shit. Oh, I'm a princess. Whatever it is, it's a fucking princess. They never get a black king. None of them. Zero of them have ever got. Even the voodoo
And
chick, the frog princess, she never
he's got
got
to
a
be
black
light
king.
skin. He's
Come
got
on,
to be light
bro.
skin. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
look, bro, it's an agenda, obviously, and then like, and again, these things just make what we do so like sweet because people they try to live this fantasy, this Disney fantasy, and then when they realize that shit ain't real, they come to us like, what the fuck? You know, it's like, no, this is the real thing right here. So it's like, cool, keep on showing these people the fantasy, keep on,
Yeah.
and then they come to us for the reality, and it's like, okay,
Well,
everything's all right.
because like nobody wants to have the conversation about like because it's not about weak. Like I only want to get because everybody in the cuckolding lifestyle thinks they get all up in arms when I call white boys weak, even though I'm literally like I'm saying it to somebody who wants to hear it. Like that's who
Exactly.
I'm pulling. Like I'm
Consensually.
not running around on Facebook. Just I mean,
White boy,
granted,
white boy, white boy, white boy.
in
No,
my
that's
real
not
life,
the
I will talk some shit. Like there's random people will meet me, and I'm like white boy this and white boy that, and and like cuck and beta, and they're just like, what? Like so I do in my real life. Like I got no problem calling out a beta. Beta
right,
energy is all around us.
right. We're on the same.
That's like the Republicans, right? They use this cuck term like as this detrimental term or whatever, trying to insult somebody when they use it, and I get all that, but it's just interesting to me that these white guys just they want to find a home for these feelings. It's all consensual, and it's just trying to give them a place where they're not angry and mad and violent, and it's like
Just
just
coddled, always coddled. Your feelings
forever coddled.
always fucking yeah,
When you're
like
telling them what you think they want to hear, but not what they need to hear, and you're mad at me that I'm telling them what they need to hear, that I'm like expanding on it. But I'm like, oh, you're having those feelings of insecurity? Let's dive into that. Instead
babe.
of, no, no, you're so special. No, no, like any girl would be so lucky to have you. And it's like, but are you gonna like really train them up first to actually like not put themselves first, B, deal with whatever obvious feelings of like racism and like inferiority complex that they're dealing with? Like, how about you woman up,
Look,
balls up, and like address that. Like, come on.
look, your governor is going to do some interesting things with blocking Africans,
Oh
and
my
look,
god.
he gonna do whatever he gonna do, but that is going to make mofo's come more so our way. Like that's why I
Mhm.
love what you do. For all of those that are going to watch this broadcast later, this woman who I'm talking to, not only does she do the kink shit and all that other stuff, but she makes mofos learn history. She
Yeah.
makes mofos read about Black history, that type of thing. So it's like they can ban it. They can do whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
But we gonna make them watch Hidden Colors. We gonna make them watch 1804. We gonna make them watch everything and read everything they gotta do. They can ban whatever they want to in the school system. That's fine.
Yeah.
But we gonna make all of your supporters wrong. I'm not gonna say his name, but like all of your supporters are our biggest followers. By
Yeah.
the way.
Right.
By the way, if in case you didn't know, because the hardest racist loves Black women. The biggest stump down racist is wants to be pegged by a Black slim Black woman. Period. It happens 9 times out of 10. So you can do all the shit that you want to say, but I'm gonna get one of my sisters to come and fuck one of your friends in the ass with a 12-inch dildo. Fuck what
Yeah.
you talking about. You know what I mean? For
And
real.
she'll keep it off the radar as long as you're paying her thousands of dollars. But
The minute you fuck it
you
up,
know,
she's gonna tell everybody. She's gonna expose you.
but that's right. That's like the other thing too. Is so funny. Is like guys that'll jump. Oh man, guys that'll jump into your DMs on Twitter and be like, "Can I pay for exposure?" And it ain't no fun if you're
Come
like
on,
asking for
bro.
it. That ain't exposure, you stupid.
Can you force me to lick up cum off your body? You already wanted to do it, loser.
Can you force me to go down on a black man? Like, first of all, like, do you understand? Like, my favorite thing to say is like, you don't deserve that. You don't deserve that. That you got to work
For
up to
what?
that.
For what? For what? Who are you? Like what did you
In what
like? Just
world?
because you have the
Am I going to
desire to
reward
do
you
it?
for existing? I don't think so.
No, you report like no. Fuck that shit. So
Because again, to clarify to anybody who's watches that doesn't really understand, like forced by
air
is
quotes, air quotes.
it's a fantasy, but also like if you are literally paying a female dominatrix, in a dungeon session for a forced buy session, maybe the first time you do it, it's you're obsessed with it and you're a little bit apprehensive and a little bit nervous, but you want to do it. There ain't nothing forced about it. You want to do it. So like people need to stop like over in the lifestyle sphere that aren't familiar with professional, BDSM
Yeah,
play.
yeah.
Consensual. They want to do it, but we're trying to address the fact that they want to do these things, but then go
But
back to
no, that
being
speaks
potentially
that
being a
speaks.
problematic racist or misogynistic, like, just dirtbag. Like that's what we're addressing is the
Well,
problematic elements that they have in their everyday life,
yeah.
separate from their fantasy play, but that they might pull into their fantasy play and think that oh well, I'm a little white guy and I'm protected by society, but I also want to talk about all my problematic things in here and not be held accountable to be a better person in real life. Like we don't some people are happy to do that. That's fine, but I'm not happy to do
Nah,
that.
that's why you know what I want to get a fucking psychiatrist, like a white boy or white woman psychiatrist on the squad that
Let's
could
do it.
really like diagnose these motherfuckers because like white boys think different. They gotta again. We talked about it or whatever. We talked about like abortion. All of that shit is just like genetic annihilation defense
Mhm.
mechanism. So I don't know what it feels like to fear every day being wiped off the planet. I don't know what it feels like. Like I know what it feels like to be like
Mm.
to fear cops or that type of shit. But the sun loves me. The earth
But that's what's
loves me.
interesting. That's what's interesting, right? Is that like white males, specifically white people, but white males are raised in a society that tells them how powerful, how special, how incredible
Yeah.
they are,
But
and
but that's a
here's all
lie.
these
It's a lie.
privileges, but it's like here's all these privileges, but yet you feel this natural like
Your woman
insecurity
doesn't love
around.
you. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
Your woman acts
insecurity
differently
about,
around
can
black
I
men. Yeah.
perform? Like, is my dick big enough? Like, who, like, so angry about the idea of who she's been with before you, not even if she's cheating now, just like who she sleep
Yeah,
with before, whatever.
yeah.
That's like the toxic masculinity thing of just like, who's my woman been
Red
touched by,
pill shit.
whatever.
Red pill shit.
Um,
Yeah,
but then, on the counter, like you as a black man, like know that everybody wants what you've got, and yet you're the one who has to worry about the cops like killing you
yeah,
on, just like your tail lights out. Oh, and now you're like
yeah.
in danger for your life. But meanwhile, like they're obsessed with you. So it's like just that interesting, comparison of like growing up white versus growing up black, like, just being nobody wants what white guys have to offer. Like they had to steal everything and like hold it ransom. And like
Right.
women now like marry them, not just now, for a very long time, married them for that privilege, like aligning themselves with, these just murdering monsters that have
Yeah.
stolen everything. And just women just tried to cut minority women out of, the women's rights movement, like, it just white
Yeah.
women are, I'm not saying that white women are not totally problematic and totally dangerous and
Of
totally
course.
awful.
They shit, they had white women slave masters. Of
Mhm.
course. Of
Yeah,
course.
I'm
It's
not out
equal.
here.
It's equal.
Yeah,
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I don't really deal with white submissive women that often, and
Yeah.
they don't have the same, insecurity, shame
They're
about being a
divorcees. I want
man in
them.
this society. So,
I want the rich white divorcees. Like I want all of them. Like, come on, yeah, because I'm glad it
yeah,
was like racist as
that
fuck.
could be
Come
your
bring
bread
that
and butter, like for sure. Somebody who's
back.
taken all of their husband's money, like,
Yeah, yeah. Come over here.
yes.
Come bring that ass. And
You're like,
all the
that's who
fuck.
I'm looking for. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, you just divorced your racist ass husband? Come over here. Let's have a conversation.
Right. Because that's
All
the,
right.
at the end of the day, we deal with couples and we deal with single, and I do advise women, but I
Yeah.
don't, humiliate, dominate, except like that's just
Yeah.
not my thing. But, we deal with single guys. I talk to guys that are in relationships, whether they're married to a woman who does or does not cuckold them. I talk to both, and obviously lots of single guys. We talk to lots of virgins. People
Oh
I
my.
don't think realize like that there is a whole community of guys that don't consider themselves incels because the incels are so misogynistic and angry and violent and,
Right. Right.
like proud of like being angry, versus like these virgins that have decided to sexualize not getting sex, which is fantastic and I love it. And
Well, think
you
about
know,
it. Our demographic is men between the ages of 19 and 45, and these men are sexless, meaning they haven't had sex in 1 to 3 months, or actual virgins, as you're saying.
right.
So these are the guys. If they're not a guy that is married, has a woman, doing content, doing swinging in BDSM or any of that type of shit, most men are not getting sex. Most
Yeah.
men, like historically, only 40% of men have been able to reproduce. The other 60% dry dick.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have the resources, if you don't have the wherewithal, if you don't have what it takes to attract and either get a woman or keep a woman, you're having no sex, bro. Like zero
Mm.
sex. So these are the guys, and they're exhibiting different attributes and things. Like we said, some of these guys are fucking in the parking lot, jerking off, gooning off, or whatever, just hoping to get caught. And
Yeah.
again, you spoke
Yeah.
about like the mind tricks that they have to go through in order to get to, the cognitive dissonance they have to go to in order to get to, that release or whatever. Like, we're really providing therapy for them
Yeah.
in the full sense.
Because again, like, these guys that some subs that we deal with that say maybe they have really really inadequate equipment, it
Oh,
makes
they don't
sense.
measure up.
It makes sense that they would have all sorts of hangups about having sex or pleasing a woman or, X, Y, or Z. But I have plenty of subs that are generically, as far as white guys
Okay.
go, considered attractive, don't have like, a 2 inch whatever,
Uh
like,
huh. A
and
micro.
they've got the same hangups or insecurities in terms of like not being able to please a woman, or not being, they don't feel masculine compared to a black man, or they don't feel like they want a traditional relationship
Like,
with a
listen,
woman.
I have
they
no
they,
clue.
they can look like whatever, they can have whatever equipment, just so everybody realizes we're not just talking about, Guys who literally can't perform. Like,
Babe, I did a cuck session with a cuck, no cap. The dude was bigger than me, and he was in a chastity cage.
yeah.
I'm like, where did you even find a chastity cage that effing big? Like it was like,
Yeah.
bro, but it's all in mentality. He's like, look, bro,
Yeah.
I cannot please her. Like, I
Mhm.
do not please her. You know,
Now we're just
I
talking about like a skill set thing that you, and again, mind you, this is 2023. There are women who have made their entire livelihood off of making videos that are right on YouTube about how to go down on a woman, how to stimulate a woman, how to get your woman wetter than she's ever been, how to like teaching you about erogenous zones. Like all of the information is out there. People could choose to go that route. If they're choosing not to go that route, there is a reason. It's because they desire something else. So,
they want to
everybody
be
needs
dominated.
access to what they are looking for. And
Right.
not everybody wants to, be coddled and told how, no, you could do it. Maybe they don't want to do it. Maybe that's not what they are happy being in
Data.
a controlled, submissive role, even 24/7. If that's what they want, that's what they should have. And they should not be allowed to be pandered to so that they just act
No,
out.
no, that's just over. If somebody is expressing that they want to be dominated, humiliated, they want to be shown that they are different, because that's all that we're really doing. You're different from a black person, okay?
Right.
You're a white beta. You need to be shown that you're different. We're just showing the differences. If you can't do that, hey, that's okay. That's over you. But over here, though, we're gonna express those differences.
Yeah. I'm telling you what, like the fact that people don't understand that the Black New World Order is a consensual space that like you can't be forced into it. You have to
No,
choose, you have to seek it out, you have to choose it, you have to have the right mentality and the right level of respect to even exist in it. Whether you're a woman or, a non-black man or woman or trans
yeah,
man or
whatever you
trans
call
woman
yourself,
or non-binary or
however you
whatever you
identify.
identify as, and however you want, like your role is going to be told. You're going to be told these are the options available to you in this space. You can't come in there and ain't no alpha white man coming into the BNWO. Like, we're
I'll
assuming
run
that
into it.
that you're not one. We're assuming that that you're not one, and you are just opening yourself up to
And there's
be
other spaces where you
dominated
can
and
be in
humiliated.
charge. There's other spaces where you can be in charge as a white man. In fact, every other space
Well,
as a white man you
the
can be in.
one exactly. Yeah,
Here's the
great.
only place where you can. So go do your thing over there. You know what I'm saying? Simple.
But again, the white women being defensive and being so like that's what gets me. I'm like, you're just proving my point that you're like all suffering from Stockholm syndrome and you
Yeah,
just don't know
yeah.
how to live unless you're agreeing with a white guy. So just FYI.
So I got this bunny boot camp thing or whatever, and I have women that are coming to me, they're talking to me, it's like, oh my gosh, like I got this cuckoldress wifey or whatever. I'm helping her. She's killing her.
She's
It's like
crushing it. Love
she's
it.
killing the game. About to be at 3K tomorrow. Anyway, so women will come up to me and they're just like, oh well, how do I do it? I love black men, I love black people, all this other stuff, and it's just like, well, you gotta humiliate white boys. Now you ain't maybe gotta do it like mean. You can be nice, nasty, like whatever.
Hmm.
But you gotta talk down to white boys because that's what they're
Yeah.
asking for.
Yeah.
I'll get so many chicks like, I kind of can't do it. It's like, what you want me to do? Like this is
Right.
what they're asking for. They want to be
Yep.
humiliated. Like they want to talk about race. Like, what do you?
Yeah.
Uh, we live in a post-racial society. No, the fuck we don't, little baby. No, we don't. No,
Honey,
we don't.
where?
Baby. Where the fact that you have to say BBC to differentiate your type of content lets me know that this is not a post-racial society.
Yeah.
Why does your
Literally.
interracial shit sell more than your regular shit? Let's talk about that then. How about that?
Hmm.
If what I'm saying is false, it could be false. That's fine. Why? First of all, because chicks will come to me, they'll be like, yeah, you're kind of right. Every time I shoot with a black dude, I get more followers. I get more da 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 da. It's like, you want to talk about that, or are you just gonna brush that
Yeah.
under the rug? Oh, well, I just think it's because da 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 da. Okay.
Because like men consume more porn than anybody else, first of
Ain't
all.
no
And like,
bitches buying your porn. It's women, it's men buying your porn. It's white men buying your porn, to be specific. And it's like, this is what they want to see. Like, you can sell to white women all day. You can sell to like whoever you want to all day. But these white men want to see a certain thing, and you need to
yeah,
sell to them. Period.
yeah. Not all of them are in, and again, like, not all of them have come to terms with sexualizing humiliation or being degraded, or,
True.
like, because, that's my cup of tea. I love to talk about making you stroke to your inevitable extinction.
Oblivion.
I love to oblivion. Yes, like
I
swallow
love
yourself
when you
out of the
say that
gene
shit.
pool. Swallow yourself out of the gene pool. Get out of here. Like, I love it. But it's not everybody doesn't do that, and it's like just the same as like there's plenty of kinks that I'm not into. I wouldn't expect everybody to be able to say that like so organically. Like, it's just I've been saying that since long before I was on Twitter. Please.
Look, it's levels to it. There's different extremes to it. Like you're on the extreme. Well, there's some women that feel like there's no more white
No.
boys that need to be born. You know what I mean? This is like, hey, all white boys should fucking ejaculate in their own mouths and not in women ever again. Stop bothering women. Hey, I'm not here to. Hey, it is what it is. It's what you feel. You know what I'm saying? There's a whole bunch of people that feel that way.
And again, it's a safe space for like whatever, like, because I always laugh, and I say this to you all the time, when these guys like to think that they're getting off on thinking that they're alone in the crazy thoughts that they're having. And it's like they're saying it, and I know that they don't actually believe it, just like I don't,
Yeah.
it's part of
Like,
what's
keep it a
getting them off,
secret,
or part of,
mistress. I'm the only one that thinks about my own annihilation. Like, shh, don't tell nobody. I'm the only one. I'm the only white boy
oh,
on.
I can't believe I have these crazy thoughts about my crush or my wife or my
Okay,
you and
cool.
I both know that it's very, very common. Like, you and I both,
Well, you know
like,
what?
because again, either you're owning up to it and you're here and you're paying to talk to me about it, or somebody else, or you're off in, your everyday vanilla life trying to
Well,
deny that
I'll
you're
say
having
this.
those thoughts and feelings. It's one
I'll
or the
say this.
other.
Beta boys think about their women, their wife, their girlfriend, their whatever getting railed out the frame. Brothers like me, cool dudes, like, I don't want to. I'm not ever thinking about my chick getting fucked out the frame by like thousands of guys and all kind of shit like that. That's on them. That's what they think about. You're right. That's what they think about. But
Because again, it's like me and my king are swingers. So like I get really turned on when he's messing with a hot girl, but that's also because
right,
I might be pansexual, like, unless you're, but just veto white guys, obviously. But
yeah,
like I'm super attracted to women. I'm super attracted to trans girls. I'm super attracted just, across the
yeah.
board. But like if he's with a beautiful woman, first of all, I know I get to get involved in that, because that's like that's what the
That's how I
stipulation
go.
is.
Yeah,
That's how it
yeah,
goes with us. So like if I'm with a dude, like that dude better be aware that like my king's probably gonna come over and like
yeah.
get
Join
involved
in.
also. Like that's how we are. So like that's the only scenario in which we're thinking about being, like for instance, obviously, my king is like editing my content sometimes, and it'll be a video of like me and one of our girlfriends either doing something with him or with another porn star or something, and that's hot, and he enjoys it, but he's not thinking about me getting like railed out the frame by somebody
No,
who's like
totally
gonna
different.
somebody who's gonna impregnate me and like all that. Like, how many white boys do you talk to a day that want to talk about their wife, sister, mother, whatever, getting impregnated? Like,
Impregnated forever, in
they want to
perpetuity.
talk about that all the time. Like, and that's some fantasy for real. Like, yeah, that's not coming to fruition like most of the time. Like,
Ain't no
breeding for the
black
most
dudes thinking
part.
about that. Ain't no black dudes
Yeah,
thinking about
exactly.
their chicks getting fucked out the frame and then breed it. Like,
Right. No.
cucks, yeah, because they do got some black cucks, but run of the mill black dudes.
But again, like it's tied in with this idea of black genetics overpowering their white genetics. So it's like it's tied up in that. It's not just about, just some random dude and who cares what color he is. No, it's tied up in the race thing, which of course goes back in
I
history
mean,
where
look,
it was a really, really
I
sick
try
thing
to
that
I
was
try
going
to
on.
talk to my cucks a lot and just try to get into their mentality and their thinking. I ask them stupid stuff like, how many hours of the day do you think about black dick?
When they wake
It,
up to when they go to bed.
yeah. And they be like, I Daddy, I think about black dick like a lot during the day. And I'm just like, why do you think about black dick? It consumes my brain. It's like, I don't think about white dick at all. Like zero. Like I'm talking about it now, so I just thought about it. Other than that, I'm never thinking about a white boy's dick. Ever. Like, but you know what? Like, I see stupid shit. Like, if I'm in the bathroom or whatever, I've seen white dudes try to look over the stall. Like if I'm in the bathroom, like white dudes will try it. They
You just want to be
will
like,
try it.
even just trying, you owe me. Like, here's
Yeah,
my
like
cash app.
this nigga, what the fuck? Yeah, you trying to look at my dick? Like, nigga, pay up. What the fuck? Like, white dudes
But
have a
see
different.
how entitled to think that you're not going to literally beat their ass. Or maybe that's their kink. Maybe they want, because white boy beatdowns is its own.
Oh my god, on Twitter that shit's huge. Watching white, and I'm talking about from every age, from like middle school on up to elderly. Like I watched this video of it in an
Oh my
assisted
god.
living home where this white dude got his ass whooped by these two black dudes or whatever. He's like, they walked up to
Oh
him, they was
my
like,
god.
yeah, I heard you saying that nigga shit or whatever. He was like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Y'all won't beat my ass, and they beat his ass unmercifully. Like, oh my god, they beat his ass. Like old dudes
Nobody
on a rough
thinks
game.
about the fact that there is an entire like community of white guys online. They they jerk off to that.
And they
And they'll
pretend live.
pay somebody like myself. They'll pay somebody like me to like, what did you think of that video? And jerk off to what I say I thought about that video. Like that's people don't realize that this is like a popular thing and happening all the time. And the video itself does not have to be inherently sexual to play into something that they sexualize. Like, but I mean, I could go down that whole thing about social media in general and the fact that people post all sorts of things online that they don't expect somebody to jerk off to, and that's a whole story for another time, I think. But yeah, those videos of white guys getting beat up by black guys, there is a whole community jerking off to just that without there's no boobs, there's no nudity, there's no nothing going on. There might not even be women in the video at all, and
No,
they are jerking off to it.
no. Like again,
Yep.
white dudes. I think I have maybe an inkling of an idea of the mentality of white men. I have no idea. Like I have no clue. The things that they think, the things that go on in their head. Like, so I got me a little bunny, right? And we might go someplace. We might go to like an expensive restaurant. They might be sitting close or sitting around. I have I have maybe an idea of what they think about, but the totality of what they think about, I'll never know.
No.
I'll never know.
I mean, you know more. You certainly can guess better now than maybe
I
10
can
years
guess.
ago, but
I can guess. I can
all
guess.
it is.
Yeah. So I did the party, did this pre Memorial Day 2-day matcha party, right? So at the end of the night, the bartender comes up to me. She was like, "Hey, we have this guy. He didn't have a good time. Can you talk to him or whatever?" I'm like, "Sure, yeah, let's go talk to him or whatever." I'm expecting to see some black guy, whatever, whatever. So this white guy, white bald guy, is just like, "Yeah, I didn't have a good time. Do you tell the women here not to fuck with black guys?" I'm like, even if I did tell the women here
You
not
mean not
to,
to fuck with white guys?
not to fuck with white guys, excuse me. Even if I did tell the women that, black women have autonomy. They can do whatever the fuck they want to do. So A, I didn't tell them that, and B, I didn't tell them that. So they fuck with who they want to, right? So he was like, "Yeah, man, none of the women here showed me any attention. It was bad." I'm like, well, this is a Black New World Order party. The women here are looking for the attention of black men. No, I didn't tell them not to fuck with any white guys, but this was
Wow.
the nature of the party. Now, let me give you some context. So,
But the audacity to be like, you must have told them not to have
wait.
sex with me.
Right. Wait. So wait.
Wow.
My roommate is a queen of spades. I have a roommate, right? She's a mature queen of spades. Like she's well versed in the fucking like lifestyle, all that shit. So I was telling her the story of this one disgruntled white guy that was at the party. She was like, "Oh, wait, him? Oh, I watched him like stare a hole at me in the beginning of the party, and then when I decided to walk up to him and tell him hello, he just looked at me with this horny look and never said anything back. So it's just like."
Ew.
If he like she wasn't gonna fuck him, but she was just gonna like make sure that he was comfortable and shit like that. He doesn't have like look, approach is everything. Reading the room is everything. And it's like
Yeah.
for that few chance that you could have fucked anybody at the party, you fucked it up by being a weirdo. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I have 3 occasions of women telling me, yeah, like I even tried to go talk to him about it. Because look, there are some black women that will fuck a white guy at a BBC party. There are some women that'll do that. I'm not here to judge them. That just is what it is. So if you're at a sex party and you still manage to fuck it up, that says a lot about you. You know what I mean? Like women actually came up to you because you were the enigma. You were different. And
Dude,
you still
I'm
didn't get no
telling you,
pussy.
I'm jaded now. I just assume that by being weird, he's trolling, looking for humiliation. Like
Bro,
I
bro.
understand that I shouldn't see that everywhere, but I just assume that white guys that say something that's so obviously like, huh? Like that they're just literally trying to be
Well, Florida,
humiliated, that they are
Florida,
trying to be corrected, that they are trying to be like, like I can't help it. That's my default now of what I assume based on the interactions that I have in my life, just like how we all bring our own experiences and perspectives to whatever, like we try to be open minded, but we expect certain things because of patterns that we deal with in our life. And that's what I would have expected with it. I would have been like, are you awkward talking to women and you just like didn't even know how to like get into the interaction that you were looking for, and now you're hoping that maybe the Black King will humiliate you since nobody did actively directly to your face all night? Like I don't know. That's just me.
see, okay. When I do a Black New World Order party, of course, I want to humiliate white boys out the bat, like from
Right.
the onset, from the beginning.
Yes.
Like, as soon as you walk in this bitch, you know your place. But it's like, again, I'm at a educational period, especially with black women, because I want them
Mhm.
to know where they stand in the hierarchy, that type
For
of
sure.
thing.
Yeah.
All things being equal, they should have humiliated his bitch ass the minute he came into the door.
Yeah.
That's what should have happened.
Yeah.
But
Because he won't know that he'll like it until it happens.
and
And
he looks
he
like
doesn't like it.
the type to be like,
He needs to
because
get
he's a
acquainted.
cut white dude. Like he's a cut white dude. I'll send the video or whatever. He's a cut white dude. But still it's a
Yeah.
situation to where, bro, at these types of parties, you get no pussy. Zero. You can go somewhere else to get pussy.
Because that's once again what you're saying. Like this is our safe space. So we're not here to coddle you about that you should come in deserving some. Go to literally any other swinger party and they will
Anywhere.
probably coddle you.
Oh
That
my
is
god.
not what
He's
we
a
do
cut white
here.
dude. He's a cut bald white dude. You would get all the attention at every other place, but except for
Right.
here.
And you advertise. So this is something that you hosted or semi-hosted, and you
Yes, I
advertised it
advertised.
as.
You know what it was?
Yeah.
One of my friends invited him. Um, yeah, one of my friends invited him or whatever, and then he came. And I have a question. Somebody just sent me a question. Disregard what I'm saying. Can you give us your backstory, please? Like
Me?
start off in college. Start off. Go
I mean,
ahead.
I'm happy to do it, but it just cracks me up because it's like I do it on like almost every interview that I do.
So I'll tell you
Like,
who wants to know this. Cuckold's wifey wants to know it. It's not a cuck. It's not a
oh,
loser.
okay. Well, I'm
Cuckold's
happy to
wifey.
share it anyway. I'm
There
happy
you
to
go.
share it
Go ahead.
anyway. I always am.
Go ahead.
I just laugh when like, somebody like anytime I'll
She
do like the
doesn't know.
questions thing,
She doesn't know.
you know.
Like I've
No, no,
told
no, of
her
course.
about you, but I haven't told her like the details. So go ahead.
Okay. So yeah, brief little overview. I'll try not to make this a super long story. Brief little overview was that I came from a mostly white town. I had a couple black friends when I was like younger, but for the most part, white town, white girl raised, white town. So when I went to college, it was the first time that I was around not just black men and women, but like just in general, like all different people, right?
Okay.
And so I had like white guys that I was very dominant with in high school, but it wasn't like a sexually based thing really. I would just like there was a couple guys I like kicked them in the balls like in the hallway and just like left them for dead, whatever. So like it was in there, it was in me, but I didn't really know where to put it. So when I went to college, I had this wonderful friend that I made on my floor freshman year, and she was a wonderful influence on me. She was sleeping with a number of the athletes specifically because they're just easier to get in touch with, on Facebook. Everybody knows who they are. So she was having sex with a number of the basketball and football players specifically, mostly because if you friended one of them,
You
the
get the
other
whole squad.
the rest of them would then add you. So it got out of hand really quickly once you entered that world. And so it was like this thing that like, right off the bat, I was like basically talking to her. I was just like, like I think I was just telling her stories about, my high school boyfriend who had been a Bosnian guy. And I was just saying like he was just too slight. Like he was very like he was like a runner. And like I was like, I need a guy that's like bigger than me. I'm almost 6 feet tall, like, whatever. And she's just like, hold on, like I know the perfect guy or whatever, like just somebody that she'd already been with. She's just like, he's
Right.
really great, like whatever. And I'm just like, okay, that sounds like fun. Once that door was open, it blew wide open, and I was just like, I only want to be with black men for the rest of my life. This is amazing. And a lot of it had to do with just like they didn't approach me in the way that white guys did. Like they weren't intimidated by me. They knew that they were calling the shots. They knew that they were in charge. Like it just made me for the first time ever be in touch with my submissive side. And I just wanted to please them. I just like wanted to like just do a good job. Like I was just like, who the fuck is this person that I am all of a sudden? And at the same time, I had all these like you're meeting people in your dorm and stuff, and they have friends, so you're like meeting like a whole group of people, like friends of friends of friends. And there was a bunch of white guys that like I was hanging out with all the time, and
Yeah.
I was like bratty with them. But then once I started having regular sex with like all these black guys, I couldn't shut up about it. I was talking about how great it was all the time to the point where it became my reputation. Like we would just be at dinner in the dining hall and I would be talking about how great black dick is. And then I had like these one guy in particular, this one white guy in particular, like was the first like official, like I didn't have the word for it back then, but I know now he was a cuck that was sexualizing being cuckolded by me, and he wanted to hear all the details. And then he would like be like, oh, but I bet I could please you. And I'm just like, no, you have no chance. You have no chance of me. You can never satisfy me. And I would just like verbally eviscerate him in front of everybody. In front of like all his childhood friends that like were also at college with him, like all these like people that we all hung out with together. Oh my God. There was like, listen, because I met him, I want to say either end of freshman year, beginning of sophomore year, but like I was like, we were all friends. Like he was a glutton for punishment was the only way I thought about it back then. I was just like, why does he like me? I'm so mean to him. I was so mean to him. Like he would take me to dinner and then drop me off at my dick appointments. He would like buy alcohol for me to bring to my dick appointments. Like he was just like he was a cuck. And I would just like I would humiliate. I would make fun of the outfits he was wearing. I would make fun of how he like behaved, like because I was just like, oh my God, you like he was one of those white guys who went to a mostly black high school and he wished he was black type thing, like the way he dressed. I'm gonna wear the Jordans and I'm gonna wear basketball jersey and I was just like, What do you
He
think
just
you're are
want to
you
be
playing
black.
dress up? Like, you
Yeah, he
just the
just want
way
to
he
be black.
talked, like one of those guys, like, not to say that only black guys wear basketball jerseys or Jordans,
I
but you know what
understand.
I'm saying,
I
like,
understand.
he
He was trying to
just
copy the style. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He wanted to be a
he's
part of it.
so bad, and, like, there was one time so, like, but the point I'm making is that, like, I started meeting friends of his from home, so black guys that he went to high school with, I met them and I would have sex with them. And I would tell him all about it. And I'd be like, I'm
Yeah.
still never gonna sleep with you, but I'll sleep with all of your friends. And like I would go to
Oh,
like just
oh,
cruel. I was cruel. I
oh.
would go to like parties at his house and sleep with like the friends of his that would come to the parties. And then I would like kick him out of his bed. I would sleep in his bed.
I
Give a
want to.
fuck.
I didn't know that was me.
It's just interesting the white boy mentality. Like me and the couple of white we went to this day party thing, and it's like white boys, the ones that are not in denial, they'll find a way to get close to us just so they can show. Like this one white boy did two, could have broke his fucking neck. Did two fucking front flips in a 3-foot pool right in front of us just to show. You know what I mean? It is just like,
That he's your jester.
yeah,
I'll
like
entertain
look.
you,
The first
king and
time he did
queen.
it, the first time I did it, the first time he did it, I didn't say anything. The second time he did it, I was like, hey, flip for me. He was like, okay, and he did it, and his dumb ass got in trouble, stupid ass. Like security had to come over there and be like, hey, bro, like no, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like white boys are
I can't
different.
help it. I don't say no to my black master. I'm sorry.
It's amazing. It's amazing. So like that's
Mhm.
why me and you will
Love it.
always have a job forever. Because there's so many white boys that want to just. That's why I be talking about cuckold. I'm like, look, you know how many cucks that just want to jerk off to their oblivion and have you watch? Just have you watch. Like I tell you all the time, you are inspirational to me. You make. We're not gonna talk about the amount, but you do well. So like
Yeah.
you inspire me to train other bunnies.
Well,
Not because I'm gonna get a cut of it, but just because like there's I can't touch all of these cuts. I can't. Impossible.
again,
But
we're
they
not
want to
competing. There's so many out there, so it's like, I'll talk to people, like I got this loser, he's like a switch and he pretends he's sub, but I'm like, no,
oh
you're just
god.
obnoxious. You're trying to top from the bottom, you're obnoxious. And he'll say things about like, oh, you shouldn't be promoting that QoS or that QoS, like they're your competition. And I'm like, aw,
Listen,
small little beta minded loser. Like, I'm not competing with anybody, sweetheart.
Baby.
Like, and
tell
that's
me.
not what sisterhood is. Like, I want women to realize that whatever career they even have, like, first of all, I do this full time. Me and my king, and now my little princess, our existence is cuck funded. Our lifestyle, our whole life is cuck funded.
Talk about it.
But
Talk about it.
some people, they have a career that they are passionate about and they can still do this on the side. Like, that's my whole thing is I want you to know you can dominate white boys online for being if you're just living the lifestyle of being a QoS and you have either a black king or you are one of these hot wives that plays with black men and you have a little white boy, you can still dominate white boys online for money in any capacity that you want, full-time, part-time, with content, without content, on the phone, on the Skype, on the whatever you want to do. Have at it. Do it. Please.
Yeah,
Please do it.
like Coach's wifey
Defund them.
got
Defund them.
2K followers and she got an OnlyFans or whatever, but she ain't got the content that all these other porn star chicks have. But yet, this bitch that made $1,000 in a day.
Right.
She got cucks that's trying to pay her every day. It's like, I don't know what to tell y'all. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and I'm not even king shaming. Hey, if you want to go the content route, go the content route. There's nothing wrong with that. But
Yeah. But that's like, again, like I make content, but I make it when I want to. Like, I don't attract an audience that feels like they could be like, "Where's your next full-length clip?
right, your life is
Like,
a
what are you
contingent
doing
of
this week?
content.
I
Your
want
life
to
is not
see this."
contingent
And
on content. No. Your life is contingent on interactions. The
yes,
content is just
exactly.
extra.
Right.
That's why I
It's
wanted
the
to set up for
conversations, the
her.
interactions, exactly. I could put
Now,
out
now
a
Jordan,
1-minute pay to view video for $100. Like,
easy.
please.
And you know what? That's why I made it that tweet the other day. I'm like, because I don't even compare myself to male talent in the porn industry because that's nothing to compare to. That's why I say I make 3 times what a female adult talent would make. I make 3 times that just by talking to cucks. Because
Yeah.
comparing myself to male talent, they make nothing. They make zero.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, when I'm talking to these women, it's like, and it's so sad what they do women in the sex industry or the porn industry. Like, let's say you're a contract worker. Yeah, you're gonna make something around like what 20K, you know what I mean, a week, maybe. You know what I mean? Like $1,000. Like if you do 3 to 4 shoots or whatever, yeah, you're gonna make that money. And let's say you come in and you're super young, they're gonna drop you at 20 and then be like, oh, well, find what you need to find. You better get in that strip club or whatever. And I'm just like, hey, chick, before they drop your ass off, let me show you the spin dog. Let me show you these cuts. Let me show you, especially if it's a chick that loves black men. I'm like, come
Yes.
on, let's get this money.
But there's even like really successful, porn stars / content creators. Like they're successful, and they probably get paid a decent amount per scene compared to other people. And they will even say that when they get into their Dom mode, like that's where they make more money. Like
Exactly.
when they're willing to put the time and energy in to have those types of interactions, they know they're like, oh yeah, I definitely make more money doing that. Like they're on
That's
record saying that. So I mean, I'd like to think that they're making content because they want to make it, like
right.
because you can definitely, and that is a funny thing for me. Like there's these different subs that, especially living out in California, that have been being subs in professional porn or living the lifestyle in some capacity, having a lot of kinky experiences for decades. And now they're losing their minds that they used to get away with not paying much or getting to have interactions for free because women needed a sub, a film slave to make content with. So they would get all of this kinky experience for free. And now they're so mad. They're so mad that women have flipped the tables and are not needed, like they don't need you anymore. They can sit at home
Mhm.
and talk and make more money, make content when they want to make it, or like have a guy pay to be in their video. Like,
Right.
ugh,
Right.
like, because
Right.
I'm new age, like, so that's the only thing that makes sense to me. I wasn't around in the freaking 90s
Fuck
having to
no.
like pander to like whatever. So I laugh. I'm just like, oh my God, you're so mad. You're so mad that women are finally like in control of themselves, in control. They make money where, when, how, with who. Like you're so misogynistic. Like you're so mad that you don't have the upper hand when it comes to sex workers. Like you're
And that's what
disgusting.
I'm saying. Like I always wanted, especially in this cuck situation. That's why I say the cuck situation is so much better than the sugar daddy and all the other bullshit shit. Because it's like
Big,
you're the hammer as opposed to the nail, and it's
yeah,
just like you're in charge. Because I used to hate it to where I have friends that were sugar babies. They'd be like, oh well. I got paid $10,000, but I got to do X, Y, and Z, and
right.
he's in charge. I'm just like, wait, no, like no, let's do
Yeah.
this.
You can get a
Let's
guy
do
that
this
worships the ground you walk on and will do whatever you say and still give you $10,000. So like, yeah,
for
it's no.
less,
But again,
for
that's
less.
what's interesting, right? That there's women that say that, oh, well, I don't know how to be dominant. Like, I don't know how. It's like, have you tried? Like, have you? Because there's so many ways to be that, but it's mostly just knowing you're in control.
And they
And
don't want to be in control. The
yeah,
real whales, the ones that they're hitting me up or whatever, they're like, look, I want an FLR. I want a female led relationship. I want women to tell me what to do. And
right.
look, like yesteryear, it was a situation to where if you were a bad sugar baby and you had a black boyfriend, you had to hide that. You don't have to
Yeah,
hide that shit. It's
exactly.
like,
That's
hey,
so
I do
true,
have a
right?
black boyfriend. Like, hey, spoil us
Yeah.
both. You know what I mean?
Because listen, I love my switch life.
Hell yeah.
I absolutely love being in a
Hey, and you know
submissive
what?
state with
What
black
I
men.
have
I love
noticed
it. And black
objectively,
women.
witches are winning right now. The women
Yeah.
who can be subbing to a cool black dude, but dominate these cucks, women like you, I'm not gonna say the number, but women like you are doing good numbers. Like daily.
But
Daily.
it's like also it's like, I mean, for me, again, like starting from in college, like it just both came naturally. I had no interest in trying to be bossy or dominate the black men that I was sleeping with. It came natural to want to be have them be in control. Like I just felt like it like of course they were in control. And
I think a lot of it is, with this Findom rap and all the stuff that's on TV. I think a lot of chicks are just like, well, hey, I don't want a smart, dominant dude. Let me find a dude I can fucking manipulate and fucking,
right.
that's what the shit. And it's like, yeah, yeah, like that's the thing. But it's like women get bored with that really easy,
But
and
that's
a
the
dude
hot
that they
wife
could,
thing.
there you go, there
They
you go,
want their husband at home that's like, catering to them, paying the bills, but who he's not really calling the shots. Like, and she, but she feels like he's going to be there waiting for me. He's going to do what I tell him to do. He's going to make sure I'm good, but I want to be turned out. Like, that's the whole thing. Like girls chase bad boys, but they're not going to marry a bad boy type. They want to,
right,
have that excitement, and they want to have like that feeling of like I'm not in control or what. So they become a
right.
hot wife, and they have that on the side. So like that's why I've said, elite QoS. My partner is a black king,
Right.
and I yield to him, and we dominate cucks together, and like that's our lifestyle. But like some women are not cut out for having a black king as their partner in
No,
life,
a
you
lot of
know?
a lot of women, and I look at it all the time. A lot of women, unlike you, a lot of women want a guy they can dominate and fuck
Right.
over and be smarter than. And hey, that's fine. Like, hey, that's what you want. That's fine. But it's
Yeah.
like you can't expect every guy, especially the guys that you like, the guys that you really like, are not going for that. Especially the older guys, they are not going for that. Like,
Right.
if anything, they're smarter than you, and they're just like, oh, that's what you're doing. All right. You know what I'm saying? And then now you're in this conundrum, this fucking quandary, and you're like, okay, there's guys that I want. And there's a woman, I can only imagine if you're wanting a guy and he don't want you back. I can only imagine what that feels like. Because I can imagine me wanting a woman and then her not wanting me back. But let's say, because women are different, they have hypergamy with inside them. Like, if you are a woman and you want a guy that's upper echelon, like he looks the part. He's 6 feet, more than 6 inches, more than six figures, all this other shit or whatever, and he don't want you back.
Seven.
Seven figures. Excuse me.
No,
I have a
six
point
figures.
in here with me in the studio. Don't trip. Anyway, yeah. If he don't want you, that says a lot. So it's like, yeah, there's some reconditioning that needs to happen.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. But, again, it's just putting it out there that these lifestyles are out there, that, you can find exactly what you're looking for these days, and you don't have to try to pretend that
No denial. That's just over with. That and that's what I'm saying.
boring.
Everything that's within the life, the vanilla shit. Like, let's say you got a bratty chick. Let's say you got a chick that's slutty. Let's say you got a chick that wants a lot of attention. Well, in the vanilla world, that's looked down upon. In our world, a woman who wants a lot of attention, who is bratty, and all these other things within the safe space, she can be taken care of.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. Like, but that's exactly it. It's like you just have to find the world where you can be in your own element, where you can you know, be yourself. So like again, like that white guy at your BNWO party. Sir, if you are not going to come here and embrace what your natural role would be at this party, you are in the wrong place. Everybody else isn't wrong. Nobody told these women not to talk to you or not to mess with you. They are not
And they
looking for
actually
you,
showed
because
you
that's
love.
not what this party's about. This party's not about you. So go somewhere where you can be around women that haven't seen the light yet.
And there's plenty of parties, and that's the thing that kills me. It's like our thing is the only thing that there's no other show on earth like ours,
Right.
like period,
Right.
where it's like, hey, you can actually speak your piece. Hey, I love black people. Hey, I love black women. Hey, I love black men. You can actually say that shit and fucking worship. Everywhere else, you're gonna be ridiculed. I can assure you that you'll be ridiculed. But because of
Because
this,
even Splash Mocha is not like,
no, it's not for real. For real, it's still
you know,
not. It's like a step in the right direction, but it's still not what me
yeah,
and you actually talk about. Where it's a
right.
situation where all the cucks are walking around in chastity. You know what I mean? All the cucks are no eye contact the whole night. We don't have that yet. Still
Or
don't
just
have that
like
yet.
that, any
2023.
black man that walks by can just be like, white boy, get on the ground, kiss my boot. Like, like there's not this general energy of
Not yet.
we are all here because we accept that we are in a submissive role, a service role, a denial, cuckold. We are here to obey any black master, black mistress, and any like it's not that type of
Not
place.
yet.
It's these white guys that like to watch or like to be involved in some capacity, but like they're still, I'm in control. Like, my wife knows what the limitations are.
Yeah, I set the limitations to my wife as opposed to my wife, FLR, Findom, telling me what the deal is.
Right. Like, and again, like there are definitely some guys that, really embrace their cuckold dynamic to the point where they really feel like they're honoring the FLR and their wife can go do what she wants to do. I'm not saying that they don't exist. I'm not. I'm talking
But for
about,
the most part, it is a husband that is hitting me up, telling me, hey, I would love to see my wife get slutted out. Well, how does your wife feel about that? Oh,
right.
well, she does whatever I say do. And it's like,
Uh-huh. That's not the same thing. That's not what
that's not what we're
no.
doing here. That's not what
But
we're
that's
doing.
like, we've talked about this before, when I get like, because again, right? I always want to push guys to, they could be coming at me, and pretending they have a wife and they don't have a wife, right? So like, when you want to talk to me about some kind of fantasy, but you're asking, I'm gonna try and get into it and be like,
Where your
how
girl
real
at?
is this?
Where your girl at?
How
Let me
real
talk
is
to
this?
her.
And
What
if
she
she
said?
really is
What she
there,
into? Yeah,
we're going to talk to
yeah,
her about what fantasies does she have, what
yeah,
interests does she have, what experiences has she had in the past that she has or has not told you about, like what does she want?
yeah.
Because
What's she doing right
this
now?
she's not your sex puppet, she's not your blow up doll, like she's
And
not.
you can't offer her holes as retribution or anything special. Like that is her holes. That's her
Yeah.
body. You know what I mean?
But
You can't offer
and
what's not
again,
yours.
and back at the black man in question, do you even care about what he wants to do, how he will
Yeah.
find satisfaction in the dynamic, how he likes to play with the woman, or in what capacity he's comfortable with the cuck guy, like, you know what I mean, like just from what angle are you coming at this? Because that is one positive thing that I'll say about some of the cuckolding spaces, that they will address this, of like
Yeah.
that there are three people in the room, all those dynamics, like it's not just about what the cuck wants. It that doesn't even
He's
make sense.
last.
Like you said, it's
He's last.
counterproductive to even, yeah, last, exactly.
And
You
like
are the
if
supporting
any at all.
role. You are like one step away from being an extra in this movie. So
Exactly. Like innocent bystander. That's what the fuck you are. Like if we decide to include your motherfucking ass, that
right.
will be a blessing for your life. Like if I decide to let you come and clean up, that is
You might
like
just
you're
be
not.
polishing shoes in the hallway.
Yeah, you
Like
please don't assume victory. Don't assume
oh,
victory. Like for what? Like no. You can assume to be in the hallway. You can assume to snip these fucking panties after I'm done with it. But like
right.
no, to assume to be participating or whatever, that's a misnomer. Can't be.
Because again, it's all consensual. So it's like, if you find a dynamic where a willing woman and black man that want to give you the exact fantasy that you're asking for, that's on them to provide that. And that goes back to what we were talking about in the beginning, which is that black men, you are in control of this. You can find a respectful, submissive, proper cuck who will obey what you want to do.
Toss you
Do it,
right.
you
Toss
know.
you right. Yeah.
So you don't have to, assume that every situation like this that you're in, you have to pander to what he wants. Like, no, absolutely not.
I maintain if you're not comfortable in the situation, don't do it. You know what I mean?
Big time,
For
yeah.
me, it's, and I say this all the time, it's so unsafe for a black king to engage in a consensual cuck situation. Like, imagine a black man about to enter a woman that's non-black, and the cuck is sitting in the cuck chair. That's the most unsafe situation for a black, because he
Right.
could say that cuck could say at any time, anything. And
Yeah,
he's fucked
absolutely.
up.
That's what
He
we were
is
talking about earlier. I was like, you
totally
need a
fucked
union
up. All right,
to
I'm down
protect
with
these
it.
men.
I'm down. And look, something as simple as somebody knowing where you are when you go to see these couples,
Hmm.
somebody like any of that shit, all of that shit is so essential. You need it.
Yeah. Because for me, it goes without saying that women need to be careful, right?
Of
But
course. Of course.
black men 100% need to be careful too. Because like
Hell
I
yeah.
was just talking to Lady Viper the other day about a sub that I've seen back in Ohio that I had seen. And because he paid well, I was like letting her know. I was like, hey, if he ever, messages you, here's
It's
how it
all
went
good. Yeah.
down, whatever. Um, but I guess he was being weird about her king being there the whole time. Because
Oh, okay.
normally he would pay me about $1,000 to have dinner with him, and then I
Okay.
would get him to pay me another $1,000 to like have a session. And
Okay.
it was mostly just him worshiping my feet and me kind of beating him up.
Got you.
But I wouldn't even tell him that my black king was coming because I don't need his permission. Like, I'm
Hey,
not going to a hotel room with you by yourself. So
fuck
like
no. Fuck
I would
no. You
just
stupid
message my
ass
king and be
cunt.
like, hey, do, like meet me here, like we're about to
Here's the
here's the
room
room
number.
number,
Yeah.
that type of thing. So I guess she wasn't sliding into it the way I was. She was trying to set it up, and he
Uh-huh.
was trying to be weird
Uh-huh.
about, oh, I don't know if I want him there. And
Bitch, I
asking your
beat your
permission.
ass. I don't fucking know you, bitch. What the fuck wrong with you?
Like, I don't know you. Nobody's asking your permission. I am a woman. You are some kinky guy. That's all I know about you. Like,
Fuck
be
you.
a psycho serial killer.
Fuck
I'm
you.
not. Absolutely not. Like,
Yeah, I got this
cash
one
meat.
cup.
Even my cash meets, normally my king is around the corner,
Yeah,
in public.
yeah.
Even in like New York City, ATM on the corner, 1,000,000 people. There's almost too
Fuck
many
that. I'm
people.
close.
They're not
I'm
paying
close.
attention,
I'm
like
close. I'm
no.
close. Yeah, because I got this one cook in Kakoja's wifey DM talking about, and again, I get that a lot of these cooks are proxy, you know what I mean? They
Hmm.
don't, but still it's like, she's texting him like, yeah, we can have a cash meet. He's just like, oh, well, will your king be near? And she's like, well, yeah, he's going to be near, but he doesn't necessarily have to be visible or whatever. And then the cook was like, okay, I feel kind of funny about that. She's like, I feel funny about beating your motherfucking ass. I don't fucking know you,
That
bitch
part.
boy. Just
Yes,
because you
literally.
offering money don't mean that I want to fucking meet you, bitch boy. What the fuck wrong with you?
Right. Because whatever you're offering, I could stay home and make that. So the point is
Double,
not about like, but
double.
again, they're acting like I'm offering you money, so I'm in control. And that's not the truth. That's not the truth of it. But they're so used to having power because they have money that some of them just can't let go and accept the reality of like, nobody needs to come around you anymore. Nobody
Period.
needs to tolerate your presence
Period.
anymore. No matter how
Period.
much money you're offering, women are going like, and I mean, again, like also the Instadom culture, there are plenty of uneducated women out there, and there are like broke women that are like, gonna
Oh my God. Oh my God.
so
Broke
they be
women.
putting
Oh
themselves,
my God.
so just everybody always says that somebody ruins it for everybody, right? So like, I'm sure that he could go bother somebody who's, it's not going to be nearly the same experience, but he's going to get the cut rate because somebody doesn't know better, but he is not in control no matter how much money he's
No,
offering.
never.
So,
Never in control. Ever.
crazy.
That's why I'm such a big component of fuck that sugar daddy life. Live
Mhm.
this Findom life. Because
Yeah.
this Findom life, you're always in control. You're the hammer as opposed to the nail, and the a client, whatever the fuck, can't dictate terms to you.
No.
You know what I mean? Ever. You got to worry about nobody being fucking controlling or any other shit. Like how you was telling me how there was this one guy. I think he went out to dinner with a chick and he was trying to tell her how to order some shit that you was telling
Yeah.
me or whatever. I'm
Mhm.
like, oh no. Oh
She
no,
was
oh
like
no, oh no, oh
red
no.
flags all over the place. Like she's just like, nope. Like, yeah,
Try.
like every little thing, like, oh no, you don't want that. You're gonna get this. Excuse you?
Oh no.
Wait, what? Wait, you the sugar daddy? You trying to tell me how to live my life? Oh.
That's not gonna work.
Because
That's not
again,
gonna work.
there are people that is the dynamic they're looking for. So they'll be like, oh, that's so hot. Oh, I love that he does that. Right.
That's
But
fine.
if that's not your reaction, get out of there.
Yeah, man, it's a beautiful lifestyle that we live. Like a lot of people are doing, content, and then some people are doing like parties and things. For me and you, we live in the overlap. You know what I mean? Like we live in the lifestyle content fetish where all of those people like interact and fucking linger, like overlap. We're there.
Where's that put me?
What's that mean?
Where's that put me?
Where's that put you? My queen of spades is asking me where does that put her? Well, you fall in where I fall in, right in a
Right.
great area. You know what I mean? You can do all the things that you want to do. You know what I mean?
Where it just all comes together for a beautiful
Yeah,
paradise.
like you
Mhm.
can enjoy BDSM, all the kink and that type of thing, but then you can also do the content, but then you can also do the party. Where some people are just like, oh, I gotta stop at one and can't do others. You know what I mean? Like you're able to do all three.
You know what cracks me up too when I think about the wide world of content creation, because somebody who, for instance, just has um they're not a sex worker. They have an Instagram or a TikTok and they're trying to, go viral, or they're trying to, make content to get followers on TikTok or Instagram or whatever. And I'm assuming that the goal of that is to get paid, is to get enough followers to get paid from sponsors or TikTok itself, or Instagram itself, but it's just, that they might get one viral video but not really get many followers out of it. And now they're trying to, like, because some go get successful, they find a rhythm, people really like
Yeah,
their content, and now they are responsible for making that type of content forever and ever and ever and ever.
yeah.
we
They're,
know
they're, they're railroaded into that shit.
we know that we can go to the beach and just show ourselves having fun at the beach, and people will actively pay us to be at the beach. Like, for me, content creation could be a a like a Snapchat length video, 1 minute of me just talking some shit, and I will send that to everybody. Like, but
Like
let me
so
but
for
let me
me,
worry about TikTok and the fact that I'm gonna get kicked off the minute that I do get my followers up. No, let me chase that dragon. Like, nope, I'm all set. Thank you very, like, whatever.
it's just interesting the cycle that let's say your average female porn store, right? She'll get in at let's say age 19, right? She gets in and she gets under contract, right? So that means 3 to 4 times out of the week, she's making 1,500 to two stacks, right? And then as an added bonus, or for her to make extra money, the companies will be like, oh well, you can go feature at a strip club. And what they mean by feature is just have your ass just go dance at the club. The club isn't
Mhm.
featuring you. You're on the marquee. You aren't special. You're just another chick that's at the center. I'm like, hey, little baby,
No, babe.
let me
No,
show you
babe.
this where
Right.
you can make whatever you make on set. I'll show you how to make that online.
Right.
Not fucking nobody. That type of shit. If you do
Mhm.
fuck somebody, we do a session of shit. It's double. It's like, let me show you this. And then if you want to go to the strip club and be a feature, now they gotta pay you. You know what I
Yes.
mean? As opposed to the fuck shit that you're doing. Like it personally took my heart how they do female porn stars. It's
But just again, women that don't know their options, women that don't know their power, and that's what's changing now is that, social media, for the ones who are smart enough to know how to bust it wide open for, and really just make themselves a social media personality so that they can do what they want to do. Like, you want to go on Twitch and play video games? Go ahead, do it. You want to like model outfits every day and guys pay you to do that? Like, you could do whatever you want to do.
but the hurting part is they don't figure out what you're talking about until like age 40, age 50. You know what I'm saying?
That's the
it's
other thing too, right?
horrible.
You don't have to be young and hot to be successful online. And anybody who thinks that you have to be any specific thing to be successful or to just to make money online is not paying attention. So, you can be, there is an audience for everything. There is an interest for everything, especially once you start going into the kinky world. Like,
And
best believe.
especially if you're a chick that is not afraid to talk about race and the fact that you love black dick and all this other stuff, all the unsundry things that are associated with it, you'll always have a job. You'll always have paying customers wanting to pay you because the money, as you know, Lady A, is in interactions. Yeah, your content is going to get you in the door. That's cool. That's going to get people looking at you. But if you can interact with your customers, it's not going to work.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just, I was so passionately telling anybody who would listen about how superior black men and women were and how intimidated everybody is by them, like just for free, just telling anybody that would listen, just bringing it up in random conversation. And at the same time, I was bartending and like just telling off white boys and like just cutting them down, like, because I didn't care like about what your little $5-10 tip. I'd rather check you. I'd rather check your ego, because because I was making money online already, like, tormenting people, guys online. And then I was like, wait, I'm gonna do this full time. It's like,
So Coach's wifey
I should
asked
not be
me.
giving this out for free, like,
So Coach's
ever.
wifey asked me what area of the country you were in. I said East Coast, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I understand."
No, I get it.
Yep.
That East Coast, Eastern Seaboard, tri-state area. Oh my God! Like those motherfuckers, they're looking for you, women. Oh my gosh!
But I just thought, like, also to your point, I just love that, these white guys they're always trying to belittle and shame and, try and assume like that, because they're so racist, right? They were like, when I was younger, especially, oh, only stupid or ugly or fat or unattractive or slut or whatever white girls are with black guys. And now they're seeing, nope, it's
No, the
literally
cutest girls, the flyest girls.
beautiful, intelligent, successful women that could be with anybody. They want to be with black men. So what does that say? They want the best. Like, and you're just so mad about it. Give in to let's explore those feelings and let's give you a place in this dynamic instead of just being mad that you can't be that black man.
You
But
have
that's
a
also
role.
but that's why they all want to be sissies now, because they're like, well, at least I want to experience what that woman gets to experience.
So
But that's a conversation
you
for
know
another
what?
time. We're gonna have to wrap this up and we'll have to delve into that another time.
That's a whole like we could go into
It's all its own.
the what's his name, Caitlyn Jenner and all that. Her name, Caitlyn Jenner. We could go into that, but that's a
Jealous
whole
of
other
Kim and all them with
Pandora's
their black
box.
guys.
Oh my, yeah, and this motherfucker's with black men. So what does that tell you? Like nobody cares about trans.
God.
Like nobody would care about trans issues if it was a whole bunch of black men that wanted to transition. No, it's a whole bunch of white women, black men or whatever. It's a whole bunch of white women, black white men that want to transition into white women. So that's the issue.
Mhm. Well, again, there's also, and I will just say this real quick. The whole sissy thing is typically, that's like based in a kink thing where these white guys feel like they're a failure, so they feel like they want to be sissified. But trans people that it has nothing to do with their fetish or their kink
True.
life. they're just trans people. They are who they are. So I do want to make it clear that these are two very separate things. So
True.
like, just to get once again, like, a cuck husband who enjoys being humiliated by his wife and he respects her and she calls the shots. He's not somebody that I'm talking about when I talk about these topic from the bottom cucks that are a pain in the ass and,
Yeah.
racist or problematic.
Out of-
They can be similar and they can look similar in certain but we are dealing with all different, people, and there isn't. Sometimes there's overlap. Sometimes there's a trans woman who likes the sissy fetish, but that doesn't make that trans woman or all trans women a
True.
sissy. Like, just to
True.
clarify to everybody
True.
that we're not,
Very
we know
true.
what we're talking about here. So
Very true.
just to clarify that.
Hell yeah. Well, let's
But is there
wrap this shit
anything
up,
else you
my love.
wanna? You were
Yeah, yeah.
saying you had a couple things. If there's anything else you want, final thoughts, let me know.
Okay, like that. That's a good tease for now. Like the talking points that I wanted to talk about, we hit them, and I got some more that we can hit or whatever. So let's
Oh,
wrap
that's
it up.
endless.
My little bunny wants to meet you.
I can't wait to meet her. Like
Oh,
I'm in my QoS MILF era now, so I can't quite as easily just pick up and
I was a MILF so long ago.
I
My baby's old.
that's what I'm like. I love how many just beautiful, powerful women that I've met that are already like very firmly in their MILF life, and I'm like, so I've got so many beautiful years of being a MILF and like continue to live my lady anaconda truth. So I'm just enjoying while she's little and just
Enjoy it. Enjoy it because it goes by so fast, babe.
So I'm immersing myself in it as much as I want. That's why I was like, Daddy Rack, go to the mansion party and have fun because I just want to stay home with my baby for now. It'll by like the end of the summer, I'll want to like make a little trip somewhere for sure. But for right now, I'm like, this is it for me right now.
Take care of the precious baby.
Love it. I can't wait to meet you though, for sure.
Wait.
Hell yeah. So, babe, give me your little sign off, my love, so we can cut this thing.
All right. So you guys know that we needed to come together. Me, Pharaoh Perfect, the ultimate cuck matchmaker, the service commander. We had to come together and, bring you another one of our very insightful conversations. We're going to start doing these regularly. I know that there's a whole lot of topics that we want to cover, that our fans want us to cover, and we want to, bring light to this amazing world of Black New World Order, the elite QoS lifestyle. People need to learn about both. I am Lady Anaconda. I am the founder of the Elite QoS movement. I'm trying to motivate women to get their power, get their life together, only live for the best. These cucks, they want to be cucks. These betas, they want to be told what to do. They want to be controlled in these aspects where they're just like, they have these feelings, they don't know what to do. So come with us. We will show you the way. LadyAnacondaHOA.com. That's where you can find everything for me, my content, my store, everything. There's links there to support Black owned businesses. There's links there to support the ACLU. We got a lot going on over at LadyAnacondaHOA.com, and also follow House of Anaconda, which is the modeling agency that I own with my amazing sexy Black king, Daddy Rock. So
Yep.
House of Anaconda on all social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all that good stuff. And make sure you're following on Snapchat as well, House of Anaconda, because you'll get to see some of the sexy models, the snakes there. And that'll do it for me. Please, Pharaoh Perfect. It's been a pleasure and a privilege, as always, to be here with you.
Thanks for coming. Thank you. Listen, we all know that these cucks and losers. I can say the sky is purple, but when you say the sky is purple, it is. And I don't
It's so
ego,
funny though.
I don't have an ego to abuse or to be offended. And that is what it is. It is what it is. So it's like, thank you for coming. My site, thesensualcircus.com. You can get me everywhere. My social media, Cuck Matchmaker. I have a link tree on my Twitter, Cuck Matchmaker @Cuck Matchmaker. We're here to provide events, sessions, everything that you're needing in real life. We're here to provide that for you. Lady Anaconda and I have been doing this for a while. We're not just some fly by night. We're gonna be here we're here now. We're gonna be here forever, for as long as we can be. She has her website. I have mine, thesensualcircus.com. We're on all social media, so we're here to serve and help you with your situation. Oh my gosh! And she's a key holder. Look at them big. God damn. Anyway. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Where are we going to be able
Oh my
to
God.
post this? What?
my God.
Okay, yeah, no, we got to shut it down.
Breastfed. I need to be breastfed right now. Anyway, y'all know how to get at us. You know what I'm saying? All our social medias are in our link trees and things of that nature. Hit us up, and we're gonna be doing this regularly every week. We're gonna do this shit, especially every Friday. We're gonna try to get this thing in every Friday. Holler at us, Lady A. You got anything else you want to put in before I sign off? No.
No, that's perfect.
All right, my love. Let's get it. Holler at us, baby. You get money. Holler at us.
And I just want to make it clear. The truth coming from my lips, how passionately I advocate for betas to accept their natural place, understand